questions about how this happened. Yesterday, President Trump did.
I'm also going to show you the cool jacket that I bought in the process. And I'm also going to shave my beard a little bit in the process as well. I got these cool ass shades. First of all. Okay. I think they're called Kearney. I don't know. Japan has so many sick things. And I found this new Japanese brand called Color that is also amazing. And I'm going to show you that too. They're investigating Candace Owens. I love that.
Investigators are racing to determine what caused this tragedy. The president is making these unsubstantiated claims, blaming his predecessors' diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, using this moment to underscore his own agenda. This morning, with the investigation just beginning, President Trump is claiming without any evidence that Democrats' diversity programs are to blame for the tragedy.
We are going to have the most competent people in the country in our control towers, not people that are there for any other reason.
Are Karen Travers pressing him?
Mr. President, to be clear, are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have. I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role. We'll let you know that. But we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are.
In the briefing room, the president accusing his predecessors of hiring air traffic controllers based on diversity goals, not qualifications. I asked the president, where's his proof? Are you saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity hiring? And what evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. We have a high standard. We've had a much higher standard than anybody else. And there are things where you have to go by brain power, you have to go by psychological quality.
But Trump also acknowledged he doesn't know if the air traffic controllers made any mistakes.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense.
Former President Biden's Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg responding, despicable, saying as families grieve, Trump should be leading, not lying. We put safety first. Democratic lawmakers say Trump owes the public an apology.
It's one thing for internet pundits to spew off conspiracy theories. It's another for the President of the United States to throw out idle speculation as bodies are still being recovered and families still being notified. It just turns your stomach.
And the president is also facing questions about his plans to slash the federal workforce. The FAA has been struggling for years with a shortage of air traffic controllers. Of course, Donald Trump has offered federal workers this buyout. And the union that represents air traffic controllers tells us, quote, they are concerned about the potential effect to public safety if FAA were to lose experienced aviation safety personnel. Rebecca.
All right, Mary, thank you.
Meanwhile, while investigators work to find the cause of the deadly D.C. crash, President Trump is ordering a review of DEI in aviation, warning it may have played a role in this tragedy.
Peter Ducey is at the White House with all the details on this story. Peter?
Good morning, and President Trump is saying he thinks he inherited a transportation system that was made less safe by the last transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg.
You know how badly everything's run since he's run this Department of Transportation? He's a disaster. He was a disaster as a mayor. He ran his city into the ground, and he's a disaster now. The Department of Transportation is government agency charged with regulating civil aviation. Well, he runs it, 45,000 people, and he's run it right into the ground with his diversity.
Buttigieg responded to that, saying, despicable. As families grieve, Trump should be leading, not lying. We put safety first, drove down close calls, grew air traffic control, and had zero commercial airline crash fatalities out of millions of flights on our watch. President Trump now oversees the military and the FAA. One of his first acts was to fire and suspend some of the key personnel who helped keep our skies safe. That is something that White House officials dispute. And you look at this full screen, there have been a lot of changes in federal hiring practices from Trump 1 to Biden to now Trump 2. The president is saying, though, he thinks DEI hiring practices prioritized placing unqualified workers in jobs over safety.
We don't even yet know the names of the 67 people who were killed, and you are blaming Democrats and DEI policies and air traffic control. Don't you think you're getting ahead of the investigation right now?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think with the names of the people, you mean the names of the people that are on the plane? You think that's going to make a difference?
Does it comfort their families
They
to
are
hear you
a
blaming
group of
DEI
people that have
policies?
lost their lives. If you want a list of the names, we can give you that. We'll be giving that very soon. We're in coordination with American Airlines. We're in coordination very strongly, obviously, with the military. But I think that's not a very smart question.
President Trump knows more about the players involved in this midair collision than we do. And we just don't know exactly right now what he knows about the players involved that is helping him reach this conclusion that he thinks that DEI practices contributed to what happened. Back to you.
Hey, Peter, were you astounded by the level of communication? I mean, I was blown away.
Yeah, we don't normally see the president in the briefing room.
And
The
cabinet
Secretary
members.
of Defense, Secretary of
The
Transportation,
Vice President.
NTSB. It was amazing.
Well, yeah, and it took us 3.5 years to get Joe Biden into the briefing room for any reason, and it was after he had already said that he wasn't going to run for anything anymore. But President Trump wants to, and it's not just because this happened pretty much literally in his backyard, like within view of his balcony from the White House residence. He just is showing us that he wants to have his fingerprints on every big national story. And this is something that he and his team, Sean Duffy and Pete Hegseth, their first hours on the job, are going to have to deal with immediately to make people feel safe. And it is a change. I think the way that this used to work for the last couple of years, we would probably get a lot of lower level communication staffers briefing us, doing a telephone background briefing, something on Zoom where we can't show their faces or use their names, but we can say we got information on background. Whereas Trump is doing it essentially upside down. Start with the people at the top. This guy's in charge of the Pentagon. This guy's in charge of the Transportation Department. I am the commander in chief. This is what we think. And so, and now they are going to let us know in real time what they're going to do.
He'll let you do a story and actually complete it by 6 o'clock.
Well, yeah, if your job is to cover what the president says, it helps a lot if the president says a lot.
Something.
Thanks, Peter, for breaking that
Peter.
down.
We appreciate
it.
Peter was talking about DEI, and we heard the president saying that might be an issue here. The FAA launched a national outreach program under Obama for DEI, and it included a push to hire workers with severe intellectual disabilities and psychiatric problems. There's also a lawsuit from last year, 2024, that alleged that the FAA turned away nearly 1,000 air traffic controller applicants solely based on race.
That is insane, to be low on people on a high-impact job and to turn people away. Meanwhile,
go ahead, bro.
I was just going to say that Troy Nails was on with you earlier, and he said this about the air traffic controller situation. Keep in mind, the federal government's running the Reagan Airport. Watch.
The DCA, which is the Reagan Airport where this took place, their air traffic control staffing shows that they need 30 personnel to
I saw and heard everything while I was shaving. Is this better, by the way? Please tell me this is better. No. You look more gay. I'm done. You missed some hairs on the left side, did I? Yes. I mean, I had to do this fast while I was listening to the DEI shit. What are you trying to accomplish? You just gotta wait until your hair regrows. I mean, the beard was annoying me. Like this is too sharp of a line. So having it be like long was annoying me. I think it just looked silly. Have you seen the new Amelia Perez drama? The lead actress has lots of racist tweets. Yeah. Your face is better balanced with your facial hair shave, but I think you gotta go fully clean shaven. Could do that. The girlies are saying better, so it's better. So, once again, going back to what's actually happening in the world, all of this conversation that revolves around DEI is actually silly, nonsensical, completely ridiculous. People are like, oh, they lowered the standards of eligibility to let in people with like severe intellectual disabilities. And it's like, okay, yeah, except the air traffic control still has a incredibly severe problem with understaffing. Interesting. Hogs mad. r/conservative users are really not happy with the DEI angle. Not the time to do this to score political points. Let the investigators do their job and families mourn. Trump will never not use a moment to promote his political points or opinions, no matter how irrelevant the situation they are. Same old Trump. He can never keep his mouth shut. I mean, one, these guys are still absolutely going to be Trump voters, Trump supporters, whatever. Also, y'all so fucking weird, worried about looking gay, conservative sounding ass motherfuckers. Oh my God, bro, this man. Oh, my beard looks too sharp and sexy. I'm going to be perceived as gay. Oh no, what a terrible thing. Shaking my fucking head, bro. Yeah, okay, dude. I don't think you understand. I never said that I don't look good with this like hairstyle or whatever. It's just not what I think looks good. Okay? That's it. You might go to a stylist and the stylist might put you in like incredibly expensive clothes that they think looks good. Those clothes might be appealing to a bunch of other people, but they might not be appealing to you. Okay? One of the things I've always maintained is natural. I don't get a low taper fade because I like having it look natural. I don't shave my beard down and ever, like, look, there's an angle on my face, dude. Look at this. Like, look, do you see this? Like, that shit is hot for some people. It's just not good for me. That's it. That's all I'm saying. So I'm trying to fix it to the best of my ability. When people say, oh, you look gay, they don't mean like, first of all, they're gay. This community is gay. This community is the gayest fucking community on the planet. What the fuck are you talking about? That's why your gay ass is in it, okay? When it's someone saying, yo, you look gay as fuck, they're gay and saying that, okay? That's it. What is this? YFN Lucci was released from prison today. Here's a short video of his biggest hit over some Soviet state bus stop as a tribute.
You can't tell me shit. Remember I was broke. Now I'm getting rich. When you diamond colder than a bitch, then you know you lit. When you quit to take a nigga bitch, then you know you lit. Every day we lit. Every day we lit. Every day we lit. We lit.
Dude, why over the incredible Soviet bus stops? Bro, these people are gaslighting you. You look weird. It looks too artificial. Like people who do face harmonization and shit. Your instincts are on point. Yeah. Line up the part under your beard to your jawline. It might look better. But you're right. If I was you, I would hate it. I like a natural look so much better. That's it. I prefer a natural look. Okay? That's it. I prefer a natural look. And this is a little bit unnatural. And I mean, it's not a little bit unnatural. Very unnatural, but it's all good. I mean, this is a look for a lot of people, and I'm sure I'm not like shitting on the place. You know what I mean? I'm sure they are helping fix the Japanese declining birth rates, like all that good stuff. Okay, that's it. And I think like me, obviously washing my face. Me washing my face was good. And then me washing my face was good. Me shaving was good too. I think it helped. Or maybe it made me look more gay. I don't know, but it's whatever. Too manicured for your taste. Yeah. Just say you don't want to look like us, the F words. Stop the rationalizing. Yeah, that's what it is. What is this? Here's a good analysis. Oh my God, this shit has 2.9 million views in one day. What is happening? Analyzing the mid-air collision over the Potomac. A detailed examination of ATC communications. Bro, it's so funny. Dude, I love my job. I'm the most fortunate person on the planet. I'm so fucking privileged. You guys know this. And I love my community. But it is hilarious that I can't even be like, hey, man, I like a rugged look. I like a natural look. I can't like a polished look without chatters being like, wow, I can't believe you're saying the F slur over and over again to me. Particularly to me, just to me. I'm sitting in my living room looking so polished, and you have now called me the F slur multiple times. It's like, no, dude, I'm just saying that, like, everybody has their own fucking preferences, you know? God damn. I can't tell if that dude was joking or not. There's hella dudes who are not joking, though, in the chat that are like, you're using gay as a pejorative. I think we as a community need to understand that there's a reason why a lot of other Twitch streamers think that this place is incredibly hostile. Okay? That's it. That's all I'm saying. We will never take ownership over it, of course, especially as a community. But like, anytime where I'm not in the fucking wheelhouse of talking about politics directly, anytime where it's not just politics, all hell breaks loose, baby. All hell breaks loose. It could be me talking about my fucking haircut, and chat will be in their feelings about it. Is literally this TikTok the live stream is not working. I don't know why.
Hear a character say something in a show and listen to it, hear it back, and go, yes, that is what they said. And take a pop quiz after the episode, an episode of fucking Succession. This is what he said. This is what this guy wants. This is what this guy probably wants. This is what he said. That's what she said. But suddenly, when you get into a real life situation and you hear the words that come out of my mouth, and I say, you can't just close the Department of Education. That's a terrible plan. And everyone who hears that, who's on Trump's side or conservative, whatever, spins around with their head on a swivel like the fucking bitch from The Exorcist and goes, oh, so you think the Department of Education is perfect? You think it's so fucking great? You think it's literally amazing and incredible and gorgeous? You literally think it's perfectly fine and shouldn't be fixed? Babes, that was a completely new sentence. Those were new words introduced to this conversation. Nowhere did that entirely new thought come out of my head. That came out of your mouth. And I'm
Yeah, chatter saying you don't want to look gay that's actually, thank you, Rizzy D. What a great point. Chatters would be like, oh wow, Hasan is really homophobic. Meanwhile, I spent yesterday with this face, with the pretty boy face, and the day prior, I did a fucking maid stream. I was in a maid outfit the entire goddamn day, okay? On the streets of Tokyo. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay? Does this strike you as a person who is afraid to express themselves in a way that is not, in a way outside of the confines of heteronormativity? The fuck are you saying? Yeah, also, Nazis lost their fucking minds over it. It was really funny. Yeah, Red Pill Twitter won't shut up about it. Yeah, because Red Pill Twitter is comprised of 12-year-olds and dudes who are mentally stunted into being 12 years old. That's the problem. Do you not understand that? You're not afraid of looking gay. You're afraid of looking Mediterranean. Thank you. Emhud, thank you. Finally, someone understands. This, what I saw, the reflection that I saw looking back at me in the mirror was something that I was afraid of, okay? Something that I have strayed away from my whole fucking life. A dude that goes to the fucking Nargile Cafe, okay? I was looking like I was ready to rip shisha. I was looking like I was ready to rip fucking shisha with my Persian brothers, okay? After a long day of doing real estate licensing. That is terrifying. I like my shit was coiffed. I was Lebanese maxing. It was unacceptable. And the brows are still there. Look at this. You know the joke I always make about like, is this person gay or are they simply Latino? Okay. This is it. This is what I'm talking about. There is an entire globe of men out there, okay? All the way from Latin America to MENA, where dudes will pay a lot of money to look like this, okay? My Mexican girlfriend heard that and feel attacked. You're getting deported when you go back home, buddy? Yeah. Anyway, I'm actually feeling a lot better now with the beard shave. Like I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm more confident in the look now. They turned him into an unfuck boy. Anyway, it's called Habibi Maxing. Exactly. Link works now. Oh, he's finally live.
Mexico can do tonight to forestall your implementation of tariffs tomorrow?
No, nothing. Not right now, no.
Not a negotiating tool?
No, it's not. No, it's a pure economic. We have big deficits with, as you know, with all three of them. And in one case, they're sending massive amounts of fentanyl, killing hundreds of thousands of people a year with the fentanyl. And in the other two cases, they're making it possible for this poison to get in, number one. And number two, we have big deficits, and it's something we're doing. And we'll possibly very substantially increase it. We're not. We'll see how it is. But it's a lot of money coming to the United States. As you know, we have about a $200 billion deficit with Canada, getting close to $200 billion. They've treated us very unfairly. And I say, why should we be subsidizing Canada? It's wonderful.
True, King. Why should we?
Canada. It's a great place.
Is there a concession you're looking for, sir?
No, we're not looking for a concession. And we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. And with Mexico, it's the same thing. We have a $250 billion deficit, and we have a lot of people coming into the border, and now we've largely stopped that, but we've stopped that ourselves. I think they've done a fantastic job. You've seen the numbers, they've dropped to almost zero. But we've suffered under the past administration for years and years. We've suffered with millions of criminals coming into our country. Criminals, people from jails from all over the world. They come through Mexico, and they come through Canada too. A lot of them come through Canada, and a lot of fentanyl comes through Canada, and China makes the fentanyl. China makes the fentanyl, gives it to Mexico, puts it through Canada, puts it through different places, mostly Mexico, but also a lot through Canada. And so all three haven't treated us very well.
There are significant...
Can I ask you about your meeting with NVIDIA? What did you talk about, and do you think you need to ban more of the chips that they're selling to China?
Well, he's a great gentleman, and I hadn't met him. He's the biggest in the world, terms of chips. And I can't say what's going to happen with it. We had a meeting. It was a good meeting. But eventually we're going to put tariffs on chips. We're going to put tariffs on oil and gas. That'll happen.
Oh, the audio's on.
Fairly soon.
Okay, I'm going to hit it on mono. Don't worry. Hold on. I'm going to fix it.
And we're going to put a lot of tariffs on steel. We already have tariffs on steel, and we've saved our steel industry, but that was relatively small compared to what it'll be. But we're going to be putting tariffs on steel and aluminum.
It's good.
Copper.
I fixed it.
Copper will take a little bit longer, and that'll happen pretty quickly. It'll mean it'll be a great boost for our steel industry. It'll make our steel industry very strong. If I didn't put the tariffs on years ago on steel, which actually Biden left because there was so much money that they couldn't do anything about it.
I fixed it.
I think we would have lost. We wouldn't have one steel mill in this country if I didn't do that. We saved the steel industry. So it was an honor to do it. And I think the people that love me most in the whole world are people that make steel. But we're going to be putting sometime this month, next month, we're going to be putting tariffs on steel and aluminum. And we'll give you an announcement as to what the exact date is. But it'll be a tremendous amount of money for our country, a tremendous amount. These are big numbers. And in addition to that, and you see the power of the tariff. I mean, the tariff is good. And nobody can compete with us because we have by far the biggest piggy bank. And so that'll take place very quickly. But also we'll be doing pharmaceuticals. And to bring our industry back, we want to bring pharmaceuticals back to the country. And the way you bring it back to the country is by putting up a wall, and the wall is a tariff wall. We were the richest country in the world. We were at our richest from 1870 to 1913.
Tariffs, my favorite.
That's when we had,
tariffs,
we were a
my
tariff
favorite
country.
word.
And then they went to an income tax concept, and how did that work out? It's fine. I mean, it's okay, but
Yeah. I said this like fairly early on, but I think he's using tariffs as a way to offset taxes. Like they want to cut taxes in its entirety and then use tariffs as a way to make up
we'll also be doing chips and things associated
for
chips.
make up for the revenue loss, which is crazy because it's just a significantly worse regressive sales tax on the working poor.
Robbie was a very close friend of mine. What happened to him was so sad, one of the saddest days. But they're coming in to speak to me, and I look forward to it.
Mr. President, on the crash, do you have any concerns that your commentary about things you have described as common sense or your observations could in any way interfere with the thorough investigation of the crash?
No, I think they'll do an investigation. It'll probably come out the way I said it. I like to put it up front. I'm so tired of listening to things happen to our country and then people say we'll do an investigation and 3 years later they come out with a report that nobody looks at. Especially, not in all cases can you do that, but in this case, you had a helicopter that was, the Black Hawk was too high. It was above the 200 limit by double. Shouldn't have been there. And there were some other mistakes made too, and I pointed them out also, and I was right on all of it, but they'll still do an investigation just to check it out, but I think that's what
They'll still do an investigation. Don't worry, guys. I mean, even though what I said is correct, and there probably doesn't need to be an investigation because what I said is correct, but they'll still do one. Don't worry, guys. But I got it. I got it. Me, the president. I got it. I figured it out. It's the black people.
And when you look at the way they run things, in fact, if you look,
it's black people. It's the intellectual disability.
Talented people.
It's the intellectually disabled.
Overlooking runways. You better get them in there fast because we don't have people there that are qualified. And you knew that because planes were landing very, very late. They were circling all over the place. We had people that didn't know what the hell they were doing.
And so there are planes in the air everywhere, and there are other air traffic. Pardon me, sir.
We have to have the best people, the smartest people, the sharpest people as control tower experts. And that's what they have to be. They have to be experts, and they have to be very smart. And we didn't have our best. And if you read the quote that I read yesterday at the news conference, it talked about people that were psychologically injured were okay, and people that had lots of problems were okay. I'd read it again, if you'd like me to, but I don't think I have
Does
to
that
waste
give
your
you
time.
concern, though, sir, with planes in the air all around the country, people relying on that as safety? Are you suggesting there's an ongoing risk?
No, I think there's very little risk, but I think that we have to make sure that this never happens again. Very, very little risk. And we're taking actions that this can't happen again. The helicopter, as you know, was out of its zone. Shouldn't have been out of its zone. It was at the same height as the airplane. Now, the airplane was coming down on its track. It was perfect. It was in perfect shape coming down, and something was in its way. You can't let that happen, and it won't be happening again. And this was all because of weak rules in the Biden administration, and we're just not going to let that kind of thing happen again. And again, I could wait, and I could, give a report in 2 years like they always do, and sometimes it's obvious. In this case, to me, it was very obvious, and I think I've been proven to be very correct. Yeah.
Mr. President, what do you expect from your meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu next week?
I expect a lot of good things. From all meetings, I expect good things. Marco Rubio, as you know, is going to make a tour of various countries in South America. He's going to be meeting in Panama, where Panama's treated us very badly. They gave him, rather foolishly, a thing called the Panama Canal, the most expensive project we ever built, if you look at today's numbers. Most expensive ever built. We lost 38,000 men. In that case, all men, just about all men. 38,000 to the mosquito, to malaria and various other problems that you get from jungles. It was a tremendously costly event. We built the Panama Canal 110 years ago. Think of it, the most expensive development we ever did, and really one of the wonders of the world, one of the great wonders of the world. And we didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama. And Panama's been ripping down all the China language signs. They've been working like mad to try, but about 70% of the signs were up and they were written in Chinese, and that's not the deal. So we're going to take it back. They've already offered to do many things, but we think it's appropriate that we take it back. They've totally violated the agreement. We have an agreement. They violated the agreement, and Marco Rubio's going over there to talk to the gentleman that's in charge.
Mr. Gaza, do you still think it's a good idea for Jordan and Egypt to be taking in Palestinians when they reject the idea and the Palestinians who are living now in Egypt?
I think Jordan will take people, people from Gaza. And I think Egypt will take them also. I mean, I heard somebody said they're not going to, but I think they will. I feel confident they will.
Mr. President, will tomorrow's tariffs include oil?
What?
Will tomorrow's tariffs be inclusive of Canadian crude?
I'm probably going to reduce the tariff a little bit on that. We think we're going to bring it down to 10% on the oil. So it's 25% on the Canada side.
Mr. President, are these tariffs stacking on top of already existing tariffs, or this will be the total?
On top of whatever may be existing.
Mr.
President, ask you a question about Venezuela. Rick Cornell was seen on state TV shaking hands with President Maduro. Is there any concern that there's legitimacy to the Maduro administration?
No, we want to do something with Venezuela. I've been a very big opponent of Venezuela and Maduro. They've treated us not so good, but they've treated, more importantly, the Venezuelan people very badly. We have a tremendous Venezuelan population. I got 92% of the vote, the Venezuelan vote. Now we want to see what we can do to get people back in their homeland safe and free and all. He's meeting with a lot of different people, but we are for the people of Venezuela. We're for the Venezuelan Americans. If you look at it, we have them all in Florida, right around the Doral area. That's really, they call it Little Venezuela, right? And they voted for me close to 100%. So we'll see what we can do to straighten out the situation in Venezuela. Venezuela has been very unfortunate. I was very surprised when I saw that Biden agreed to buy a lot of oil from Venezuela, because Venezuela...
By the way, there are 200,000 Chinese people in Panama, and some families have been there for 170 years. They make up 4% of the entire population. Trump is a dumbass. I did not know that. That's crazy.
They buy...
What is happening right now? There's just a phone ringing in the background. This is such a boomer moment. What the fuck?
So we're not going to let that stupid stuff happen. So we'll see what happens. We're not happy with Venezuela. We don't like the way they've treated the Venezuelans. at all.
Mr. President, there have been some warnings or messages that government websites will be shut down this evening to scrub them of DEI content. Can you confirm if that's
What's
accurate?
been shut down?
Government websites, excuse me, will be shut down this evening to scrub them of DEI content. Can you confirm whether that's accurate and if there are any concerns?
I don't know.
about-
It doesn't sound like a bad idea to me. DEI would have ruined our country, and now it's dead. I think DEI is dead, so if they want to scrub the websites, that's okay with me. But I can't tell you. I guess probably certain people handle it certain ways. But I'll tell you who's very happy about it: the military. The real leaders, the real generals in the military, they're very happy about it. Doug is very happy about it. He's got a big group of people that are going to be working for him, really starting right now. He just got signed up, and they're very happy about it. He had a lot of DEI, everybody did, but he has not been a fan. It was really hurting our country badly. It's costing a lot of money too. You see the kind of money we're talking about? Hundreds of millions of dollars for nonsense. Now we have our country back now. Our country is back, and it's a nice thing to say. I've never seen such love. I've never had anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. People are coming up, sir, thank you for bringing our country back. We were losing our country, and I think we're stronger now than we've been in many, many decades.
At the
Any
Department of
update on your call with Vladimir Putin?
Well, we'll be speaking. We'll be speaking, and I think we'll perhaps do something that'll be significant. We want to end that war. That war would have never started if I was president, and we want to end that war. That war is a horrible war. Millions of young people are being killed, mostly on the lines now, mostly soldiers. But the cities have been largely destroyed, many of them. They're like demolition sites. But the soldiers are just shooting at each other. You know, it's a very flat land. I said this the last time, very, very flat land. The only place that a bullet stops is when it hits a person. And they're hitting a lot of people. They're hitting a lot of soldiers.
Also, I posted on Instagram, just letting y'all know.
On both sides, you know, I think Russia would probably say close to 800,000, and Ukraine 600,000 or 700,000. And it's just a senseless situation, and it's got to stop. So whatever I can do to stop it, and we are having discussions, yes.
Ongoing, already scheduled and ongoing?
Already talking, yes.
So you've already spoken to Vladimir Putin?
I don't want to say that, but we are having very serious discussions.
Is there a reason you don't want to?
We are, well, I just don't want to say that. We're having very serious discussions.
Dev here. There's a reason to shut the website down to scrub DEI content. It's just an excuse. There's no reason to shut down a website to scrub DEI content. It's just an excuse to shut it down and then hope people forget. The standard, shut it all off and see what kind of pushback happens in hopes you don't have to turn it back on for efficiency. Yeah. Makes sense.
People over there was weaponized at a level that nobody's ever seen before. They came after a lot of people, like me, but they came after a lot of people. No, I wasn't involved in it. I'll have to see what is exactly going on after this is finished. But if they fired some people over there, that's a good thing, because they were very bad. They were very corrupt people, very corrupt, and they hurt our country very badly with the weaponization. They used the Justice Department to go after their political opponent, which in itself is illegal. And obviously it didn't work.
Are you going to impose tariff on the European Union?
What does that mean?
Are you going to impose tariff too on the European Union like you are going to do for Mexico and Canada?
Well, you're asking me a question because I'm sure you didn't hear. Am I going to impose tariffs on the European Union? Do you want the truthful answer, or should I give you a political answer?
What does that mean? You're the fucking president. Answer normally. What is happening?
The European Union has treated us so terribly.
Oh my
You
God.
promised Americans to try to reduce costs, and so many of the products that would be tariffed, when they come into the country, the outgoing country is not paying the tariff. The buyers in the United States pay that, and then that's passed on to consumers in most instances.
Sometimes.
How would you expect to have prices come down if you have such a broad plan for tariffs? And what do you say to the voters who want to see you reduce everyday costs?
Well, let me just tell you that I got elected for a lot of reasons. Number one was the border. Number two was inflation, because I had almost no inflation. and yet I charged hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs to countries. And think of it, I had almost no inflation and took in $600 billion of money from other countries. And tariffs don't cause inflation, they cause success, cause big success. So we're gonna have great success. There could be some temporary short-term disruption, and people will understand that. I had that when I negotiated some of the good deals for the farmers, and unfortunately those deals have been led astray by Biden and his people because they didn't enforce the deals. We have a deal with China, which is phenomenal for the farmers, but there was nobody to enforce it in the Biden administration. They let them get away with murder. So that's another thing we're going to be bringing.
Do you accept the principle of costs being
They
passed
committed to
on?
buying $50 billion worth of farm product, and they did it when I was president. And as soon as I left, they stopped doing it because there was nobody in Biden to enforce it. But the tariffs are going to make us very rich and very strong, and we're going to treat other countries very fairly. But if you think about it, other countries charge us tariffs. We don't charge them tariffs. And it's about time that that changes.
Sir, are you concerned about the market reaction around tariffs?
No, no. Tariffs, the word tariff is a very misunderstood word. You've heard me say, I say it kiddingly, but it's one of the most beautiful words in the dictionary, really is. And we've been taken advantage of because others have charged us VATs. As an example, the European Union charges us 20% plus a VAT tax, called a VAT tax, very similar. And it costs us an absolute fortune.
It's JD Pondon, baby. I'm telling you. It's JD Pondon. It's JD Pond freaking Don.
Don't take almost anything.
Destruction of global trade and American global trade superiority happening right in front of our eyes, dude.
European Union, we're going to bring the level up to where it should be. And if you think of the European Union, then you go to NATO, it's largely the same group of countries. Until I came along, I mean, we were paying almost 100% of NATO only to get bad trade deals. And now it's been evened out, but very unfair having to do, it was evened out pretty good. Actually, I did a good job. They paid $440 billion if you look at the Secretary General's report, and he was here recently and he said that. He said one of the most amazing things I've ever seen is what President Trump was able to do with these countries of Europe, of which he was in charge of them, but he couldn't get them to pay. I went over, I said, you got to pay, and if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. It's very simple. But very unfair is with Ukraine because we're in for $300 billion plus, and they're in probably for $100 billion. There's a $200 billion difference, and they need it more than we do. You know, we have an ocean in between. They don't. And so they're going to have to step it up a little bit.
With efforts to reduce the federal workforce, whether it's offering what we've called the buyout package or other efforts, do you have any concerns that there will be employees broadly across the federal government who might take that up? And they're a part of the many different ways that agencies protect the public, from food inspections to water safety to
I know,
the air
but
traffic
everybody's
controllers.
replaceable, and we'll get very good people to replace them if it turns out to be more than we thought. It could be a lot, it could be a little, we don't know, but we'd love to have them leave. We're trying to remember this. We want them to go into the private sector. It's our dream to have everybody almost working in the private sector, not in the public sector. We have many people, very few people came to work. They were, you know, it started more or less with COVID, but actually even before COVID. But it started with the COVID, they didn't come back. And then Biden let them get away with murder, and they, you know, we had federal workforce, like 4% coming into the office. And that just doesn't work. You know, people can say it does, but it doesn't work. You have to be unified in a group in the office. It's just, it was crazy. You don't know what they're doing. And then at some point, we may ask them to certify that they didn't have two jobs, meaning were they really getting a check from us, the government, and then were they also working a second job and a third job, and, you know, on government time. And many of them will say that they did, you know, which is not legal, but it's a problem. It's a problem. No, we want to get that out. We want to clean it out. You know, people have been trying to reduce federal government now for 40 years, 45 years, and they haven't been able to do it. And this is a way of doing it, I think, very nicely. It's sort of a buyout, too. I think we're treating people very good, but people don't come to the office, they won't have a job starting on that very special date. So we'll see how that works out. I mean, nobody knows how that's going to turn out. Everybody might show up to the office and maybe a large number won't show up. But if they don't show up, we've accomplished a very serious goal. We're trying to reduce government.
Does Mr. Musk or any of those associated with your DOGE effort, do they have any direct access through the government systems to how money is dispersed?
No, nothing. No, they are. This has nothing to do also with the federal cutting, you know, with this federal cutting. This is very separate. This is if you don't show up, you don't get paid. But DOGE, I think great progress has been made. We're talking about cutting over $1 trillion of waste. We're talking about waste. We're not talking about we're going to love and cherish Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. We're not going to do anything with that other than if we can find some abuse or waste, we'll do something, but the people won't be affected. It'll only be more effective and better. And our country, as our country gets richer, the people on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, those people are going to be more secure. If Biden had gotten elected, Social Security was going to fail because the country was failing. It was going to fail. The country was going to fail. And therefore, the Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and all of the other things that you may get would not be able to be paid. Our country's getting very strong, and you see it. I think more progress has been made in the last 2 or 3 weeks than has been made in the last 4 years. I think not only has more progress been made in the last 4 years, it's, I'll call it deprogress. We went way backward as a country in so many different ways, from woke to all of the other things that took place that were so bad. You look at Afghanistan.